Now, I mentioned before that Australia has joined with the US, Japan, Germany, Italy, France, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, a bunch of other countries and the EU in calling for a 21-day ceasefire across the Lebanon-Israeli border. Here's what Joe Biden had to say on it.
He put out a statement for a 21-day ceasefire along the Israeli-Lebanese border. We were able to generate significant support from Europe as well as the Arab nations. It's important this war not widen. I'll have more to say about it tomorrow.
Let's bring in former Foreign Minister Alexander Downer live from London. Thanks for joining us again, Alexander. What is Australia doing signing up to this? It all sounds very lovely, but isn't it very impractical given what Israel is trying to do in the here and now?
Well, Australia's diplomacy on this is all about domestic politics, meaningless in terms of national unity. We have just lost all of the soft power we once had in the Middle East by playing domestic politics on Middle Eastern issues. The core issue here is the resolution of the 2006 war between Israel and Hezbollah. There was a Security Council resolution 1701, which, amongst other things, of course, required Israel to withdraw from Lebanon, which they did, but required Hezbollah to move all armaments out of the area, a sort of 50 to 100 kilometre area between the Litani River and the Israeli border. They have defied that. They've totally ignored that. They've installed rocket launching sites, including in private houses, and been firing missiles and rockets into Israel on a constant basis. I mean, in the end, if you were the Israeli Prime Minister, what would you say to the 63,000 people who've had to be evacuated from northern Israel? That you weren't going to do anything about it? You were allowing the West to play domestic politics with their lives? No, you would go after people who are firing missiles at you, and you would defy the international community, which is in and of itself as totally ignoring a Security Council resolution going back to 2006. Yeah,
well, they're calling for that to be adhered to now, but as you say, it's just been completely ignored, and that's why we've had the missile attacks and all the chaos that we're experiencing at the moment. I want to bring you back to UK politics because we haven't touched on this yet, and it's fascinating. Here's a little explainer from ITV News.
Keir Starmer arrived at Downing Street promising change. But now he's being described as the king of the freebies. There have been free clothes, free tickets and free football. Since 2019, Starmer has received gifts worth a total of £107,145, the biggest amount of any MP. Almost 40,000 came from a single donor, Lord Wahid Ali, 16,200 for work clothing and 3,485 for multiple pairs of glasses. And over £12,000 from the FA Premier League Limited, 4,000 of which paid for VIP Taylor Swift tickets at Wembley.
This is extraordinary, Alexander. This bloke heads up the Workers' Party and he's only been in Downing Street for about 2 months. He seems to have just destroyed so much of his own credibility.
Well, he claimed when they were in opposition, the Labour Party generally claimed to be more moral than the Tories, that the Tories were getting gifts from donors and so on. And they made a huge row out of this, was supported by substantial elements of the media. As it turns out, they're doing the same thing, if not worse. And so it has blown a hole in Keir Starmer's support. So has indexing the heating allowance for pensioners, which has affected 10 million pensioners. So that has had a very big effect as well on his standing.
Yeah, so he's taking, while he's doing this, while he's been exposed for all these gifts, he's been taking money effectively off 10 million pensioners, as you say. And just in the last 24 hours, another gift scandal where it turns out that he was put up in a flash residence in central London during the election campaign.
Yes, and he's been using this £18 million, what's that, $36 million apartment owned by a Labour-supporting billionaire. Has been using it over the last few years, as it turns out. He was even recording addresses to the nation during the COVID crisis from this apartment.
Extraordinary.
So, I mean, the guy has, I mean, he's done himself huge damage. He's now more unpopular than Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, indeed. That's incredible. Thanks, Alexander. Appreciate it.